Yeah. Yeah, baby.
It's one of my faves.
All right. This is a solid record, bro.
I appreciate it.
This is a very solid record.
Appreciate it.
I went into this project very, analyze mode. Like, what's he been doing? And I heard this one and went, oh, he's in a bag right now.
Man, this was the control, Curtis.
That's a good Curtis.
Looking out my window, thinking about my kinfolk, reminiscing when I had no bills and this was simple. Ride around with heel foot, intersect with Central. Back when I'm at Absol, rapping with no pencil. Back when all my ends.
So I probably should. I'll let this rock for way longer than I should. If you're watching this now, this is For the Record. I don't know the episode number because I'm filming these faster than I'm releasing them. But if you are on this channel, it's your boy Jay. You probably know who I am. And if you're on this channel, you probably know who he is. And if you don't, this is Curtis King with 2 S's.
2 S's, please.
Please. Thank you for coming, man.
Of course, man. I appreciate you having me.
There's a lot to unpack here, but I'm gonna turn this back up for a minute first.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a very unprepared interviewer. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm a conversation person. So I'm going to start right off with what this song inspires me to say, which is you were in a special bag with Leo multiple times.
Yeah. This one was, it was the release of a lot of pressure that I was holding on to for years. Trying to find the right producer, the right engineer that could really bring to life these ideas. Leo has a special power, and I know you know it firsthand.
Time out though, because you are actually a successful and talented producer.
Sure,
you know how to mix and engineer.
Not like that, man. That's the problem. That's what I mean. The pressure of having to do everything by yourself and trying to figure it out.
It can spread you thin.
And this was one of my first offerings after my exit from my label, Black Cloud. So, and then also from management that I had. And Leo has this special power that I was saying is that I'll say, yo, bro, rewind back to the second verse. He's like, I already hear it. And I'm like,
he's in tune.
Wait, what? And he's like, he'll do it and it'll sound better than what I was going to suggest. That's a very rare thing. When you know that you can let that go, you spread your wings and you do some very creative things. So someone like you who obviously you have talents and you're a great artist, but when you don't have to be a producer artist and an engineer artist and a writer you can just be Curtis in a room with someone else who can facilitate around that. Yeah.
It definitely lets you, it's like when they, when people buy pet snakes, they say it only grows as large as the cage you keep it in.
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like Leo, he's like, how big you want to go?
Well, truth be told, Leo was probably the first producer that produced me outside of me.
That's a curse because you don't really want to go anywhere else.
You don't, but I'm sure we'll talk about it. Like, there's circumstances that have changed, obviously, with my boy moving out a little bit further from where I'm at to where it's good and bad because I miss him and we acting like he ain't alive, he here. But it forces me to get back into the original bag that made anybody care what a Curtis King was. It was me producing for myself.
Factual.
Snick at Night was me producing the whole thing for myself. So it's got me back in that bag, which is good. Right,
and that's what I was going to get at is you were Curtis King well before this project.
Yeah. But this was a very like I said, when I said control, like there's a certain angst I felt that was in my voice and a certain angst in my delivery, and even a certain amount of try hard energy because I did have to try and bust my ass to overcompensate for the things that, I wasn't great at. I wasn't a great engineer. I didn't really look at myself at that point in time as a great rapper. I just looked at myself as somebody who could put words together, create moods, be authentic in my delivery, and, find a few pockets and have fun. But with him, it was like, you're going to relieve me of engineering, relieve me of, the beat making process, and I get to just focus on being Curtis King, the artist. Mm-hmm. And you're a better producer than me? Oh, bro, you run that all day long. So it's, man, it is a blessing, and it can be for a lot of folks. It can be a gift and a curse because it makes you kind of use it as a crutch. Yeah. But I love the challenge now because, you know, it's not like he's not out the picture. Like, he's helping me learn how to engineer myself, right, giving me vocal chains and things to mess around with. And, you know, I need to graduate and figure out these things on my own too. Yeah,
absolutely. And your aptitude for it is out of the park. You know, you're a guy who does full on video editing. You can tell a story and a narrative with a pile of footage, you know, so you can definitely create a mix with planned, orchestrated, pre-recorded vocals. You know what I mean? You know, it's just sequencing and mastering, knowing what to click on to get what you're looking for.
And that's something I'm glad you said that. It's something I have to constantly remind myself of. You are somebody who wears multiple hats as well, so you understand the pressure that we feel when we sit down as video editor. We're not comparing ourselves to other rappers / video editors. Yeah, we're looking at the folks that we look up to. I'm looking at the Spike Lees. I'm looking at, you know, the Quentin Tarantinos. I'm looking at all these folks that I'm inspired by and saying, you know, obviously looking at the circumstances and not having the same amount of equipment or staff, right? How do I match up to this visionary, and can I create something with what I have? It's a hell of a lot of pressure to put on yourself, and you're gonna, you know, a lot of times fall short, and a lot of times you're gonna do some special things. Yeah. So that's the place I'm in it right now. At the end of the day, making beats, making music is all just manipulation of audio clips. Video editing is visual video clips.
That's it.
It can't do nothing that you don't tell it to do.
I mean, and this is just an opinion of mine, and we kind of talked about this a little already, but it's it's one thing to know the science, or did you go to school for it? Do you know the rules of it? Right. But there's, no matter who you are, no matter how much science you memorize, there's still an art to it. Yes. I have this ongoing theory. I regurgitate this philosophy I have to everyone I know. But I believe that all things in life have a balance of art and science. Sure. So when you rap, there are certain things that are indisputably required to be a good rapper. Those are the science. Then there are these things that this sauce we put on it, and that's the art. It's the flows you pick, the pockets you choose. Right. But ultimately, there is on beat and off beat. There is how many syllables rhymed with the last set of syllables. You know, there's all these things that are undeniably factual, and those are things that can be taught. Science can be taught. Art is almost what you're given, you know, and it's something you have to, the only way to develop art that you don't already have is by thousands and thousands of reps. Right. I think that you're someone who's born with art. And I think that you're a little hesitant because you haven't got all the science maybe of the engineering, but you have the ear, you know? Yeah.
And I am somebody that's like, I mean, I have that perfectionist energy, but I also am able to look at it and zoom out and say, the perfectionism comes from insecurity. The perfectionism comes from...
That's an artist. That's artist, bro.
Sure. And being able to see it and still have to be the one in charge of it. You know, sometimes it doesn't make it easier, but it is something that I'm well aware of. And I just have to be able to check myself whenever I get into that headspace where I'm just like getting too obsessive about it, because like man, I feel like I should go get diagnosed for OCD because the way that
you might be worse than me, man.
Nah, I hear you making video folders of bad shots, the good old decent shots. I organize my stuff, but it's like, I don't know, we all have our level that we need for ourselves, that if you try to explain it to somebody else, the process wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost illogical for me sometimes how I function. Like this show here that I'm doing right now with you, I had this concept 4 or 5 years ago to do this show, and I already knew who I was going to call 4 or 5 years ago. You know, I barely told them, you and a few other people, maybe in the last few months, but I didn't do it because just pieces of hardware weren't what I wanted them to be. And it wasn't like I didn't own a camera, I didn't own a studio. Like I had all the hardware, I just didn't have the hardware I wanted. And so I was like, I won't do it at all. And that doesn't really make sense to me. But it's just what it is. You know, I can't create or happily put something out if it's just not at a certain place in a certain way I envision it. Right. So that's kind of held me back a lot. I'm curious, what slows you down? Because I've sensed that Curtis King has always worked in cycles. I've seen Elon Musk Curtis. I've seen like producer Curtis.
Yeah.
I've seen like motivational speaker Curtis.
Yeah.
And I see all these different versions of you. And it's almost like each one has a different haircut sometimes.
That's true. Literally. Yeah.
It's almost like you
Same
go into
hairline.
the cave. I see you go into the cave, and it's almost like you start boxing in the cave and lifting the weights or whatever.
Yeah.
You come back out, and you're transformed each time. And I almost like anticipated. I'm like, oh, he's been quiet.
Yeah,
what's coming?
That's the
What's
most
coming?
dangerous. That is the most dangerous I feel that I can be, and the most at peace that I am is when you give me time to get away from the matrix, get away from the noise, get away from the expectations, and even mostly the self-inflicted expectations. I get away from that for long enough and really just sit with myself. The moment that I understood that so many of the folks that I talk to, so many of my peers, they're fearful of that, helped me to understand, like, this is how you shift yourself into a 1 percentile of the population by doing the things that are challenging, like cold showers in the morning when it's already 68 degrees in the house, like things that you see and you're like, no way in hell I do that. That's that. I don't care about that. I'm here to challenge myself on a physical and mental level, because at the end of the day, what I'm learning is that it's not about trying to wear all these different hats. It's just that this is just who I've always been. I had a former manager, shout out to Salas, that told me, he said, you got to stop putting these titles on what you do and just realize one day that you're a creative. Period.
You are.
And just keep it there. And in that way, you're able to see that, you are not what you're doing. It's how you do it. So if somebody admires my approach to art being authentic or being soulful, why would that change when I start video editing and storytelling? Why would that change when I'm making a soulful sample-based beat? Why would that change when... And plus, I'm blessed because I feel like I'm surrounded by people that don't make me feel like an alien. I look at, the Nicholas Grays. I look at you. I look at, now get into his videography bag. Like, I have friends that do this as a norm, and we set the bar so high for one another without ever making it a conversation, just being viewers of each other and fans of one another. It makes you want to operate at that level to the point where you look at the other population, you're like, damn, like, I've been training so hard.
Yeah.
And I didn't recognize that, like, there's not a lot of people who are on this side of things.
You've been hooping with the same collegiate team in the gym, hooping, then you went to LA Fitness. And you went, oh, we was hooping.
Yeah, we were hooping. This is not normal to y'all.
Yeah,
huh?
Y'all don't jump this. Okay. So, yeah, and that's that thing, man, is, you're definitely from a very unique, special cloth, which is, I mean, we're not the only people, and not to be like separative or anything like that, but we're not the only people out there who like to dive into a lot of different things. But I think that what separates it is your ability to step outside of yourself and look and go, okay, I like that. I don't like that. I need to focus on that. And you can call it an insecurity, but I call it, just an ability to step outside yourself and observe, which I think so many people just don't do. It's
right.
It's more like when you go to the gym, the guy who, let's say two guys go in there and they both play at the same gym,
right,
and they both put up 10 points. For one guy, I put up 10 points.
Yeah,
for another guy, he's like, I got 10.
I got 10 off. Yeah.
He stepped outside the game and went like, on the stat sheet, maybe that was decent, but I can step outside the game and know I didn't do what I need to do. And that's who you are. You're able to, okay, those numbers are cool. Someone would love these numbers. I know what I need to do, or even if the numbers are out of here and you go, I got good numbers, but was the work what it needed to be, and stuff like that. And
well, I mean, yes, for sure. You're spot on with that. But even now, like, I'm noticing that I have to continuously be comfortable with the possibility of starting at square one again.
What do you mean by that?
So I have to, for instance, I started I started a new direction on my YouTube channel this year. First video out the gate, man, it was like more views in the first 48 hours than any of my videos have performed in quite some time, because I was just throwing a bunch of quantity, low produced videos out there. Made this highly produced video, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, went off, right? My audience is like, yo, this is crazy. It took me 26 hours to edit that video. And most of which were simultaneous, right? With the exception of like probably 3 or 4 hours the next day to just kind of get the coloring and things like that, right? I put it out there, hella views. Put up another video. I made a rage beat. Another 22 hours. It went crazy. So I'm like, okay.
And you weren't editing all your videos prior to this?
Not prior to this, but this is what I'm getting at is what you're asking about is, you know, as long as the numbers match, bro. The third video that I did was basically how to make a beat battle beat. And in comparison to the other videos, it bombed. And it didn't take... It wasn't like it took significantly less time. I put just as much time as I did in the other ones, and I'll never get that 22, 26 hours back. And so at some point, I think now I'm like maybe 8 or 9 videos into this new process of editing and scripting and shot listing and just doing what I'm supposed to do to make the best video I can. And I've had to reserve to myself that you are kind of starting from scratch again. And and if you were starting a new channel and you didn't have the 200,000 subscribers that you had, would you be so concerned about the views? Would you be so concerned about, oh, this is a bomb? You wouldn't even use those words because you know it's a new channel. Yeah. So I'm approaching everything like that and almost removing Curtis King from Curtis King, even though I know that in some circles, in certain situations, it works to my advantage. I'm not treating it that way, and it keeps me hungry, bro. It keeps me like from being content, and how some people get in this place where they're like, I'm me and I shouldn't have to do these things. It's like, no, bro, I'm going to get my hands dirty. And in one of these cycles where I keep starting from this point and getting here, it's just gonna crack off.
So I'm curious, what are Curtis? So I feel like from the outside looking in, just watching what you've done and not done, you've had these like this roller coaster of a journey, like these Mount Everest highs, and then you just go into a cave somewhere, and then you come back out. And then boom, you fly back up again, then you go into a cave. And talk to me about what those peaks are like, or what are those peaks, or are they even peaks, or what are they to you?
They may be. Okay, so the moments you're talking about that appear as peaks are generally what the audience is seeing, right? Yeah. Generally, the audience looks and says, man, you're on fire. You're putting out more content than we've seen you do before. I've been following you. You've been on your grind. Usually, when I leave, it's because the work is at a peak on the front end, but physically and mentally, I'm drained.
Right. So you've been climbing a mountain, and you're like,
climbing and going, and it's like I don't ever look at it. The thing is, I'm always the last person to know when I need some sleep, and I should be the first person to know. Yeah. I have a friend that calls me and be like, "Yo, like, shout out to the homie Epic. He'll call me randomly." It'll be like a 2-minute conversation or a 30-second conversation. He'd be like, yo, bro, I saw your new video. I was like, oh, I appreciate it, man. What you think? He's like, you look like shit. And I was like, what you mean? He's like, drink some more water, get some more sleep. I'll let you. And then that's just our nature of our brotherhood. I
love it.
So when I have that happen with one person, I'm like, oh, okay, that could just be one video he saw. Because I cut up a lot of content from different times of the year. Yeah. Then my wife will say it. Then somebody at the gym will say, like, oh, man, you good? Like, you ever see a lot of bags under your eyes? And then I'll start to look at myself and be like, all right, you cannot maintain this pace and still expect to be at the top of your game. So I got to just go into my cave. I forget who told me about it, but it might have been when I was doing Curtis King University. I was with these producers, and one of the producers told me that he knew of a mother that lived in Arizona, and it might have been Noah that told me this. I forget. But anyways, there's a woman that lived in Arizona. She had 2 kids that lived in California. And whenever her kids were out there on their own and going through stuff and feeling spiritually drained, she would go out there and give them her energy. right? Like she would be there for them, cook for them. She would listen to them and be an ear. And in order for her to be that for them and fill them back up, she would leave on empty and she has to go back home and recharge. But that's the point. And that's another reason why I moved so far out to Diego, because it was like, that is my place to be away from everything and charge up. I charge up on a daily now. So when I get away from the internet, though, those are my longer extended times to really, really just spend time with myself and like act like this is 1998 again and the internet's not what it is right now.
Right.
I get to just be here and like get on Skillshare and learn how to light and color my videos, like little things like that, like that you just don't have the time for. Read the book that I said I was going to read, and just get off of social media for a second.
Right. It sounds so logical and simple, but it's not that simple.
It's not, man, because the businesses revolve around it.
Yeah. And you're an entrepreneur, so every time you take a break,
something's getting hit.
Something's taking a hit.
Well, you know what's crazy? This last time that I took a break, I knew at the beginning of the year, I was going to take a hiatus off in December. That's usually the time I do it. And it's a good time because when you're talking about work for us as an artist or even as a producer, the industry generally shuts down in December. And even the content shifts. The content viewing audience shifts their behaviors. So you just expect that, right?
Yeah.
So I had it planned. Then this ad situation happened with Facebook. Where they changed the way that you can track users who are iPhone users, and they took away privileges that you had for the ads. And I tell you, bro, we were running ads at the time, somebody that I was working with, and lost so much money, a lot of money that put me in a hole to where it's like, okay, I have to really, really take a step back. And this may not be the wisest financial decision, but if we're going to be around even in the next few months as a business and operating the way that we are, I have to do this so that I can replan and re-envision and rebuild what's happening right now. But the lesson I took from it is just that, sometimes we think our foundation is a lot more solid than it is. And we need these things to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're in almost an organic industry. The music industry is constantly changing, evolving. Technology constantly changing and evolving. The platforms constantly changing and evolving, kind of like you just said. I mean, there's like this cycle of social media. Where is everyone using and uploading? Where's the content at? And then internally, okay, first I want you on IGTV. Now I want Reels. Now I want,
Right.
And so you're never doing what you were doing last year. It's not cyclical per se. The only cycle is nothing's the same.
Yeah, that is, and I get that from one of my, and it's not even a mystery why my favorite artists are groups like Outkast.
Yeah.
And Busta Rhymes. No album sounds exactly the same.
Exactly.
Those are who I grew up listening to and saying these are my favorites because I feel like they're giving me more than just one side of who they are. They're showing me their creativity, and I live by that. But now, bro, like that's the thing that people don't recognize about when you take a break from social media, a purposeful break, not just erasing the apps, but filling that time back up. I looked at my phone. I was averaging.
That's what it's about.
I looked at my phone. I was averaging about 15 to 16 hours a day, and I couldn't even when I sat down and thought about it, I was like, where did I give that? How did I give that and still get work done? So when I got away though, bro, I started to see things so clearly. When I tell you that I had been operating at 480p for the near the entire year and didn't recognize it until I got away, and I was like, dog, I figured out this social media shit. And I couldn't see it when I was on social media. So even as I was taking a break from it, I was recognizing where these companies are going to, where the YouTubes are going to, the Instagrams and the TikToks. Why is this so appealing to a great amount of people? Why? Because normal people have the opportunity every single day to become the new superstars. And it is supposed to be my responsibility as a content creator to make it easier for them to be superstars. That may happen through TikTok duets, Instagram remixes. That may happen through me doing these short videos now where I'm basically giving a perspective on a topic. And then now I got like football coaches, car detailing businesses, vegan donuts and cookie home mom and pop stores from all over the US, all over the world, who are using my vocals for motivation. And it's like, dog, this is nothing different than what I did when I had a series on YouTube called Curspiration. I was just giving my version of inspiration. Yeah. But I couldn't see that when I was so close to it. It's almost like when you look in your car and it says objects may appear closer than they are. Like, it's that perspective bias of being so close to the issue that you can't see the issue. So I got away from it, bro. And now, like, the first 3 posts I put up, the second one is at 500,000 views on Instagram. It's never happened in my entire duration of time being on Instagram. But this is the first time that I came back and I said, fuck all that shit they doing over there. We're doing this. I don't care if we're doing this. And on top of that, in order for me to evolve in this space, it has to be more than just an evolution of what content looks like in general on Instagram and all these. It has to be an evolution of me too. Yeah. I'm doing these long ass, and it sounds crazy, long ass 1-minute videos, but that's an eternity now.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't see that, but now 15 seconds, 30 seconds, get that off. Hot, it's going crazy right now. So, but I'm grateful, but I'm very stoic about it. That's what I'm basically saying.
Yeah. And that's because you understand the cycle.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, don't get caught up in this because this is just this. That's all it is. You know?
As soon as you believe in it, it's going to go back to where it did again.
You got to snatch it off the table. Boy, you took a bite.
Man, and then also too, like I had to check myself, bro, because I was one of those people that got mad at the algorithms. Right? The algorithms are shadow banning me and all of this stuff that I was like believing in and thinking of. And I recognize that the algorithms do nothing but reflect our own behaviors. Right? So if you give the algorithm that you don't look at posts that are longer than 15 seconds, it's going to feed you posts that are less than 15 seconds. And so I looked at that and I was like, okay, that part of it. And even YouTube, people don't recognize YouTube is multiple algorithms, right? And what I recognize with YouTube is that the most important metrics is not just comments and likes. The most important metrics is retention, the amount of time you can keep eyes on your video. Why? Because they can put more ads in front of them. Well, how do you keep people more? How do you get people to watch your videos longer? By being fucking good. Well, no. There's got to be another secret to it. Like, what's a hack? Be fucking good.
That's it, bro. Make someone sit down.
But in order to do that, though, bro. Yeah. Like when you're editing a video. Let me ask you this: when you're editing a video, how often are you keeping a timer going per cut?
Oh man, I can assure you right now, I will try to almost test my own attention span. I will like press play on something and be like, I'm bored. Yeah. You know? Like, I'll try to time my own attention span. Like, how long before I start going, I'm looking at a camera shot. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to beat that time clock, you know? Yeah. Because I'm like, people, if I'm still interested in it, people are already bored. Like, that's how I feel. 'Cause I'm invested in it. It's my product, you know? So I know nothing can run too long. Nothing can sit too long. And I mean, I remember this is probably back in 2011 that I realized this. I had a buddy, he was doing hard cuts in his own dialogue straight to the camera where he's talking like we're talking. Right. He had no ums, ifs, no but. He was like, they gonna hear every word and we gonna get this off. Right. And I was like, damn, it was genius. Yeah. Like, and I don't know if he pioneered it, where he got it from, but I start to see that edit style in a lot of people where they look at the camera, they're pitching something, discussing something, and if you look closely, they're hard cutting their their pitch. They're skipping things. They're just sentence, cut.
When you do your recon and research on the things that you like and why you like it, you start recognizing there's so many factors that we overlook. And one of those for me was recognizing what you just said right now, like how fast the cuts are, how fluid the conversations are. And one thing that I have stayed very true about, two things I should say, and I learned one of them from he's a huge YouTuber. He's a brother that does like all the technology, the iPhone stuff.
Oh yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
What was his name?
I don't remember his name, but
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he does electric cars. He does technology. He does all that stuff.
He said something because I took a Skillshare course for his YouTube. He has a YouTube Skillshare course, and I took it, and he said, what was the tip that he gave? He basically said that he doesn't say any words on the camera that he doesn't write down. And he sticks to that. He said it may feel like it's general dialogue or conversation, but he says everything has a specific direction I'm going in. And he said that is just what keeps me on point, and that's what keeps the artist interested. That was one. Because everything that I've done for the last 6 years on YouTube before this year, I didn't write nothing down. I'm at a bullet point. There's a reason why a lot of these videos were too long, and I rant for entirely too long. So I had to check myself and say, how do I get this message across in a third of the time? That was one. The other thing was never repeat yourself in a video, in a YouTube video. Never repeat yourself unless you're unless you're repeating a list of some kind. Like there's exceptions to every rule. Never repeat yourself, because that, and I just did it right now, but that is the reason why people stop watching videos, because they're like, I got it.
Yeah. They're like, he's done.
Yeah. You just running laps at this point.
I'm not gonna lie to you. There's definitely some channels where, like, when I'm trying to find a piece of content, like I don't know where I'm gonna get it from, so I'm just searching and looking for channels. What separates this guy who's how to build a deck in your backyard from this guy, how to build a deck in your backyard, and what are the things you look for? How long is the video?
Facts.
How good does the video look? Who explains it the best? Who's actually showing me what I need to see? You know, all these different things, and some of them, man, they just...
Typical video. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video. Please excuse the mic. Like last week, man, my dog ate my mic, and it's like, dog, I don't even know who you are. I don't like. You're acting like I'm somebody who's been watching all. So, like I said in my last video, this is not a series. Why are we talking about the last video? I'm seeing you for the. I'll give you an example. My wife called me and she was like, the check engine light came on or whatever, and I was like, oh God. I was like, but she was like, but also it's not showing the gas, and I was like, okay, let me look that up on YouTube what that means. And I looked it up, and this dude gets on here and he was like, what's going on there, YouTube? It's real hot out here right now. So, you know, I put my blue shirt on today, and I'm just like, dog. The nature of this video needs you to speed this shit up.
Yeah.
We're in a dire situation. You talking about weather and you know, aesthetic, clothing aesthetics. So, when you recognize that you have the same habits of the people that you're editing
what you're saying is why TikTok blew up. The things people look for on YouTube, they're now, I didn't know this till recently, they're now looking for that exact same piece of content on TikTok. They're going, okay, they don't bullshit on TikTok.
You can't. You don't got no choice.
There ain't no time. So
you can now, because they've extended it. You see, recently they extended it to 10 minutes for some people.
That's wild.
That's too much.
Yeah, that's way
10
too
minutes
long.
Is crazy for a TikTok.
That's
what are you doing?
That's a feature-length movie on TikTok.
You don't get your YouTube head ass out of here. 10-minute TikTok.
There's chicks, they're doing full-on, like, when I was, like, heavy on the real estate bag, like, looking for homes and stuff like that, TikTok, they gonna show you that whole house in 30 seconds. I was like, hey, yo,
how do y'all do this?
She's like, yep.
What kind of drone? What kind of drone is that opens doors?
Man, they was flying through this house. And I knew the price, and I knew where. Well, I was like, they got that information off.
Yeah.
I was like, this is gonna spoil me mentally, you know, getting information that fast. Sometimes I almost want to slow down time.
Sure.
I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to sit through a dry video for my own discipline mentally, but I don't.
Yeah.
But you know, you slow down, you step outside yourself again, and you go like, I am really struggling to enjoy technically normal pace content. Fortunately, like I love to watch feature length films, and I like cerebral films and slow down movies, slower paced movies, and I think that helps. But yeah, things like TikTok and Twitter, they're fast paced and laugh, joke, scroll. You know, it's
I gotta admit though, I think that's the benefit of taking long extended breaks, is that you forget the speed. For some people, that's bad.
Yeah,
I'm not unaware of that. I know for some people that's bad. They'll lose the speed, come back, and be a snail on the social media. What I'm recognizing is that I never needed to speed up. I just needed to just get to the point.
Yeah, omit.
Like most of the value is what I leave out.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I learned in school with screenwriting and all that is, okay, you got your script off. Now we got to figure out all the stuff every line that didn't move the plot forward.
Right.
Boy, when I tell you I lost like 5 pages.
Man, I'm dealing with that now, bro.
Just fluff.
When I'm writing videos and I have a time that I put on it, because that's what I started doing. I said, this video shouldn't take longer than 7 minutes to get to the point on YouTube. It should take 7 minutes to get to the point. I'm writing these scripts out and I'm recognizing like, damn, 75 words is 30 seconds already.
That's how I know you study, because
you know what I'm saying.
You got the numbers down, yeah, and you're accurate.
I think 200 is like 200 is 3 minutes, and it's like, okay, well, what are we saying in here what are we trying to say? Who said it? Oh my God, I want to say it was I'm going to give the wrong person the wrong quote. But there's a quote that basically says, I would have wrote you a short I would have wrote you a shorter letter, but I didn't have enough time.
That's a genius quote.
That's a bar. Yeah. I would have wrote you a shorter letter. I just didn't have enough time, because the kind of care that goes into that. You can't just like.
It's the art of omission, the art of writing. It's putting more value. It's quality over quantity.
Yes.
You know, which is. I gave you less, but less is more. You know, less is more is the most basic version of that quote. You know, and I understand when I'm putting out microwave content. Like I'm doing so for me, editing makes me want to punch myself in the face. I hate editing video.
You don't have a relaxing nature with editing? It doesn't relax you at all?
So I'm not where you're at, where I kind of have like a piece to I still have too much on my plate.
Gotcha.
You know, like there's certain things I have to do in a day. Like I have to get some type of exercise, even if it's not like good exercise. Right. I got to go outside and move my legs.
Sure.
I have to obviously work a bit. I try to do the music thing, but then like when I'm editing, I find that sometimes I'm just thinking about all the things I haven't done yet in that day. And so for me, I have to almost like next week on Tuesday is editing day.
Yes.
So I got to make sure on Monday I fill all these voids, so that on Tuesday I'm mentally like, okay, there's nothing else I need to do except sit down and get to work. And then I can enjoy it a little better. Yeah. But even then, you know, I'm trying to find the most efficient, fast way to complete the process instead of the best way. I'm doing this little mini doc on my tennis journey right now. And instead of, I know how good I could make this documentary. I can make it so good. But instead, I prop up a camera on a tripod. I put a few different shots up and I just train. No one's holding it. It's static. That's already a problem. Right. Then I bring that footage back and it's an hour of footage. And I just take out all the fluff. So it's nonstop hitting. You just see a ball getting hit nonstop. And I sit just like this and I watch it and I just talk. Yeah. And then I've dropped the audio on the clip and I put it out.
I think I saw a clip today on your channel when I was looking at the interviews you did with Sonny on the podcast. And I think I saw an example of that where you were talking about you were practicing with someone and there was a certain type of, was it a backswing or something? I have an elephant memory, bro. A visual memory, but you were narrating it and you had the camera going. But I'm like, is that what you were talking about doing?
That's lazy. That video is lazy. So, I mean, for what it is, it's fine. But I know that I could turn that into a show that'd be out of here. If I dropped it down to about 5 minutes long, wrote down what I'm going to say, because I'm freestyling every single thing I'm saying.
Yeah.
And, just make it compact and valuable for someone who maybe wants to go on that journey too. There shouldn't be a journey in watching it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the issue, because it's the footage is about 10 to 11 minutes long each episode, and it's about 5 minutes worth of content in real time. So
but see, I think a lot of it too comes down to personality and recognizing. Like for me, I recognize, and probably folks who are watching this have seen it with me, is that you get me excited about something, I could talk about it, run off. Like I'll go into that whole spiel. But there's parts of that I don't like. There's parts of it where if I were to just slow my brain down for a second, gather my thoughts, and then also give what may be seen as a gem, and then let it sit, life is so much easier. But I think that I got into a place where, for whatever reason, maybe it's insecurity, I don't know, I was I gotta give you 1,000,000 gems in this one. I gotta keep giving you, I gotta keep giving you information, and it's
non-stop bangers.
10, yeah, exactly. Then 10 minutes pops up, and it's like, whoa, I didn't learn anything. I learned some things, but I didn't learn anything from this video that I can take and do right now.
Yeah.
That was a personality thing I had to shift first, and that when I shifted that, bro, it's helping now as I sit and I script these, because I'm like, I know nobody going to care about the detail of this, because I don't care.
Yeah.
If I can't see a thumbnail for a video, the video doesn't get done. If I can't see what shot this is, there's no reason to write this line down. This line is not that important.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to show your wittiness? Oh, that's cute. Get it out of here. Like it has nothing to do with the purpose of this. And I don't know, man. I am personally enjoying. Now that I've offloaded so much off my plate, and that's probably a big factor, is that I'm enjoying the process more than I ever did before.
So, you're making music still?
Absolutely.
We have one.
You got one. You got a fresh off the. I just mixed that today.
Oh yeah, Curtis mix. A Curtis beat?
Curtis beat too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm hyped.
Unreleased. Nobody's heard this.
You only get it here. For the record.
Yeah. Find your way. Yeah. Lately I've been free and leaving my mind open. Getting back to me and attempting to be social. Living in the moment, not going through the motions. Cause I be lost when I'm out here floating. I know pride, I know broke, I know broken. I know highs, I know lows, I know hopeless. I don't cry, that don't mean that I'm soulless. It means I need solutions that are better than emotions. Who do you run to when you the pioneer? You the trailblazer, but the vision isn't clear. And people giving advice ain't never been here. Always wanna drive the boat, but you ain't even learned to steer. By the way, I wrote these words inside my hideaway when I spent some time away, far from the cyberspace. Never underestimate some time away. It could turn a cloudy night thought to a brighter day.
I feel like you're writing what we talk about.
Come on, man. It's an extension of it now.
This is crazy.
Thank you, bro. Find a way.
Look, I'm gonna play this whole thing to have to, but I have so much to say already, because I feel like you're talking to me in this.
Come on, talk to me. What are you hearing?
This feels good because, so first and foremost, I'm a fan of you as a rapper. I've listened. So first I was a rapper, you know, and I came onto the scene later than you did, and you were a name that came up. No, Curtis King, Curtis King's headlining this. I was like, okay, is this nigga that dope? Like, first off, I'm coming
that's
in like
the rapper, and that's yeah.
So first off, I'm already listening for a reason to hate. And you probably don't know this side of me, but I'm a hater first and a lover second.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for reasons to dislike some shit. But once I like something, I'll wear it on my chest, bro. Like I'll wear it when you're not in the room. I love you forever.
Most folks who are like that end up being good friends of mine, so that's a good thing.
So I definitely came in like, all right, let's go with this guy, you know. And I have a genuinely open ear, even as a hater, you know? So I listened and I was like, okay, he produced this. Okay, that's pretty dope. All right, cool. I was like, okay, oh, that was cool. You know, I go to the live show, I'm like, oh, he puts on a good show. Okay. Oh, he's going to pay dues. Oh, okay, I'll support. You know, before I know it, I'm a fan. I was like, man.
Oh, you got T-shirts? That's what's up. I mean, I'm a XL, double XL. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know, I say all that to say, in the beginning, it was just solid music to me. Like I was like, okay, he's solid. But something changed, and it might have been Jubilee year for me, where you started. It felt more like I felt your life in your music more. Like, I think you've always, for the most part, kind of rapped about what's happening around you, but it felt like you found a way to penetrate, you know, and it was just more clear than ever. You know, it was like very raw. And I'm gonna play one or two in a bit after this, but you know, I was saying this to Sonny as well. There's some people where when I listen to the music, I can go, I've met that guy. This is fucking him.
Yeah.
Like, this is genuinely him.
Yeah.
And you make that music, and that's the reason I'm a fan of your music.
I appreciate that genuinely, bro.
You
appreciate that really for real.
I'm close friends with people I'm a fan of. Close to them. They don't do that with their music.
I call it rap. It's a difference between a rapper rapping in the act of rapping. Yeah. You're showing me your skill set and you're displaying that you have this skill for rapping.
You're talented.
But there's a difference between when you start talking to people. Right. And it's like the difference between talking through people and talking at people and talking to people. Right. And that is something that was the biggest shift with Jubilee year. That was the first project I didn't worry.
What is there's Jubilee year? What's the one right
Somersault,
before that?
Or before that was
Somersault's the one after.
Raging, yeah, that was after that. So Raging, so that run was Raging Waters, Jubilee year, then Somersault came out.
Okay, that's a great run. That's a great run.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
And yeah, man, you definitely. So Raging Waters, I was like, I was like, okay, he's on to something. I love the artwork. I love the entire campaign you did. But Jubilee year, I wasn't even watching your campaign. I don't know what you did or didn't do during that time. I just remember the music.
I can tell you why that changed. I can tell you the exact reason. This is not theory. I can tell you exactly what it was. That was the first project I didn't have to worry about the music video while I'm writing the song. Okay. And when I say worry about it, not that I'm not a creative person that likes to imagine like, yo, if I write this, it can be in the video. Like, I love those excited moments. That usually happens around friends. It doesn't happen around industry folks. And when I was doing Raging Waters, I was around a lot of reputable people in the industry. Like my manager, my manager at the time was Salas, and I was around the DJ Heads and the Chuck Dizzles, and like, this is like, they were emerging in the industry to be who they are now. And it's like, I was around that, and so it was like, yo, this is good, this is great art, but where's the single at? Music video, that's cool, but instead of working with this person, or instead of you doing it, how do we get a hold of a Calmatic? Yeah, it's the business of it, where we have to make this in packages, and we know as artists that affects the work. We just hope that the audience doesn't notice it, but they always do.
Yeah, and that's why it's so valuable for you to try to find this delicate balance of like being around people where it's less compromised. It's always going to be compromised, but it's less compromised. And kind of like you mentioned earlier with Leo, where technically speaking, you're still thinking about certain things and maybe how you'll lead off, how you'll campaign it, how you'll brand it. Maybe you're thinking about those things, but it's in a room where you're with people receptive to the Curtis King vision specifically.
Well, that, but also it's in a room of people who have childlike imaginations like me.
True. That's very important.
Like, take Curtis King out the room. The most important thing is that I'll sit there with my brother Leo, and I'm sure you've done this, where it's like, bro, what if we did this? And we're talking about plans for like rolling it out, but it's not a rollout meeting. Like that doesn't always work well with my personality.
Right.
We cannot plan and predict the way that human beings are going to react to a product until they get it. We don't know. I understand the need and the necessity for planning, but I also understand that so much of this shit is chance and it's people choosing to listen to us. Mm-hmm. I recognize that the first time that I was able to just take a breath, sit back, Leo's handling the production. He's handling the vocals. I'm not concerned about if my voice is too low in the beat. Like little things that can really agitate an artist. I'm like, I trust you, bro.
Right.
And we both have this like, I was like, bro, what if we do the, at the time, the biggest like trend on social media was that thing where people were like, frozen in time. You know, it was the name of
the silhouette challenge.
The silhouette challenge, right?
I think that's the name.
No, I think that's the newer one, right?
Oh, yo,
that's a whole other way with it.
Mannequin challenge.
We for sure didn't do no damn silhouette. You trying to, man? You the pause king? No, pause. Hey, silhouette challenge.
I didn't say I was there. Mannequin challenge.
The mannequin challenge. So so as we were working on the song, I was like, bro, like it'd be crazy, like if I dressed up as Rick James, and he's like, hey, that would be kind of crazy. Like, what would you do? So like he doesn't say, no, you can't do that because like people are going to take you for a joke, and he's not thinking how other artists or how the industry is going to interpret it. And that's not a shot to anybody. That's just a difference in the energy and what we're creating. We're like we're childlike, and he's like, not only do I think that's funny, I'll be in a video with you.
There you go.
Then Nabian pops up. Nabian didn't even produce anything on Jubilee Year, but Nabian directed the intro video for Jubilee Year. He's in there playing Mac Sauce in the kitchen, like, and he's shooting the video and he's in the video.
That's my brother, man. That's why I love that guy so much, because I've known it. I don't think you know our relationship. I've known him since I was like 12 years old or something.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
When I met him, neither of us made music or cared about music.
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, and long story short, me and him decided to start making music roughly around the same time. Mm-hmm. And we both realized, you make music, I make music, we'll work together.
Yeah.
And so we've paralleled each other our whole entire lives with music. And I met Leo separate from him, and I was like, you both need to come together.
Yeah.
And so I forced them to.
Glad you made that connection.
Man, and they're out of here ever since.
Sure.
You know, those guys are a dynamic team. But let me finish this record.
Mm-hmm. Find a way.
Beat's crazy, by the way.
Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you. I feel like I give the best advice to everyone except myself. It's like my mind goes blank when I need my help. I've been told I'm too strategic and need to leave it to Jesus. I'm always seeking a deeper meaning in things that are meaningless. This is my weakness, but part of my genius. If you delete ingredients, you will never see me again. Food for thought to get a taste. I wanna bring a friend. Friend tries to customize a dish, now it's different. If it ain't broke, then don't fix your mouth. If you don't own a hammer, don't fix my house. If that man got hope, then he gon' figure it out, cause he don't do it for the cameras or the screaming the shouts. I feel closer to God when I isolate, clear-minded when I meditate. Can you relate? I watch them rat race in the microwave while I'm sitting here plotting by the fireplace.
Oh, you're going crazy, man. Is this on an album, or is this gonna be a single?
It's gonna be for an EP for sure. DIY EP Part 2. Find a way.
This just feels good.
Find a way. Thank you, man. It's interesting too, because when people say like, man, bro, you still making music? It's wild how people only look at that as, are you releasing music, is what they're really asking.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Absolutely.
But it's like, dog, you don't ask a painter if are they still painting. It's like,
it's factual.
So what I'm recognizing is that all my career I've been exposed to artists that, you know, I was there in the very early years of the TDE years, and I remember seeing a sample of what Kendrick Lamar's vault looked like of songs. And shout out to him, because he, you know, at the recording of this, he just released that his new project. But I remember being in the studio, because Ali's mixing Ab-Soul's project that I'm producing on, and this is 2010, and I remember him saying like, "Yo, this nigga K, I got so many songs in these vaults. It's crazy. Like he's an alien, bro. He's not from here." Remember him showing me little tidbits of stuff, And it was stuff like that we've never heard out today. I've heard it that one time. But I've seen artists like him. I remember 50 Cent saying like, we got like hundreds of songs and we picked the best 15. I never was like that. I was always the type
Me
where
either, man.
If I make 20 songs,
20 songs is dropping.
I might take one off and make it a Lucy, but that's about it. I don't have an abundance of music. Like when I make that, I'm like, this shit better go on something because it's a lot of energy to create.
For me, man, like I can't imagine someone like you making 1,000 songs because each record, I feel like you gave something in you and put it on the beat. This is another thing that I feel like we might have in common is I got some rapper friends. I rap with a lot of people that I'm close to.
Right.
And these boys can write 100 bars.
15 minutes, right?
15. I'm like, I just can't do it, man.
That's not the way I'm built.
I just don't rap that long. Yeah. You know, I just can't. I have to make like little cheat codes. Like I told you earlier on the bar guys, I had to tell myself, okay, there's this theme and then there's this theme. And these are ways I know to keep going, you know, because if I don't have something to add, I'm done. So these little metaphors and schemes and ideas I come up with help me keep pushing the verse further and longer without just saying nonsense. And I hear that in your music where I'm like, okay, it's meaningful writing. Not to say that these guys who write 100 bars aren't meaningful. Right. I can't just pin off my insides like that.
Well, peep this. This is how I had to finesse it. And it's not intentional. It was not planned out. I do this live stream, or I used to do it the last 2 years every single Tuesday, called Flowcation. If you look at these streams, I made them all unlisted because it was hurting my channel. That's a whole other conversation. But these streams are averaging 5 to 7 hours. 5 to 7 hours. Mind you, the cameras are already set up to where, you know, there's a camera on me, there's a camera on the screen, all the stuff that is needed. And I'm just sitting there cooking. For 2 years straight, I made a beat or a song every Tuesday. Wasn't intentional. I just got in there and said, all right, y'all, I'm about to make a beat. You know what? I got a little melody. I think I'm gonna do a hook. And week by week, I made these little 1 minute and 30-second songs where it was like a hook and then a verse that I wrote there on the spot. So like they're still in there. Shout out to my community at Curtis King TV. They're sitting there. They troopers. They're chilling with me. They going to get their food. Like, okay, is the verse done yet? All right, cool. Let's see what you got. I did that for 2 years and I built that catalog up. I released a lot of it, but I can always pull this stuff off of the distributors, add another verse, because only one verse, and I can make one of the best albums I've ever made, at least from a taking my time standpoint and at least from a cohesiveness standpoint, because all of these are thoughts and reflections upon what I was going through at the moment. So I didn't lose quality, because if we're in here for 5 or 6 hours, it's no different than me saying, what do I want to talk about? I got a song that's on streaming right now called Ego. My ego talks sometimes. My ego talks sometimes like, please don't take my pride away. But I gotta level up one time, and I guess I'll take some time today. My ego talks sometimes like, please don't take my pride away. But I gotta level up sometimes, so and I guess I'll take that time today. I did that whole thing in a live stream, and it was like, I'm getting real-time reaction from who the listeners are gonna be. That whole experience made me want to write harder, made me want to make better melodies, made me want to make sure that whatever I said into this microphone was not half-assed, because it's a room of, you know, average 40 people, 70 people. That's so
funny you went through that, man. So this was my original songmaking process. I'll come up with an idea. Okay, I need to go to someone who can make me bring this to life because I can't produce. I'll go to Leo or Nabian. I sit down with them and I go, this is the BPM. This is what I want it to sound like. These are the instruments I want. I might even have the chord progression. I might have the whole beat in my head.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like sometimes. Other times it's a little more loose. But regardless, they always nail it. Always. And I go, thank you. I take it and I leave. I go home and I write the whole song. I record it. I mix it. And it could take me 1 day or 3 months. It always depends. But that's how I made music for 7 straight years. Which means I wrote alone in a room for 7 straight years. And then Leo said, yo, man, come do a slap episode. And I went, what's that?
Yeah.
You know, he's like, oh, you know, it's like we hop on my show and I start making a beat. And while I'm making the beat, you work on the song.
Cook up the song, yeah.
And I was like, whew. I'm not gonna say no.
It's a little bit of pressure right there.
I was like, I have like a fiery competitive spirit. Yeah. I don't say no to things, especially if I'm a rapper.
You're an athlete too. Like that's an important factor in this.
So I was like, look, bro, let's go.
Yeah.
And in the back of my head, I'm going, okay, it's time to go into like psycho
Come
mode.
on.
Like, so I mean, I'm so overly thought. I'm coming up with like little one-liners in my head for different types of beats, like before I even walk in here, you know, and I'm trying to just psych myself into doing it. And we get there and I'm like, Leo, 90 BPM, right? 90 BPM, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, bro. I was just thinking, you know, I'm like, what you mean? Like, I'm mentally prepared for 90 BPM.
Right. You going off the plan right now.
And I think Leo got the message. So we do 2 records in 1 session. We do 2 full records in 2 hours.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy. So we do the first one in the first hour and it's 90 BPM. He hears me subconsciously. He's like, all right, bro, basic boom bap, 90 BPM.
Yeah.
And I start, yo, hey, yo, you know, just doing my autopilot basic. I can get this done in an hour flows. And then I'm feeling cocky now.
Yeah.
And the song ain't that good. It's not coming out. You got to go find it yourself if you want to see it.
Go look on the stream.
Yeah,
right.
Go find his stream. Slap episodes. Oh gosh, Leotus. But then on the second one, I go, you know what? We bodied that. Let's just start up something else, you know? And Leo's like, what do you think you want to make?
Yeah.
And I was like, let's ask the crowd.
Oh.
Man.
Sometimes that's a hit or miss.
But man, you know, it ended up being my favorite record I've made in like the last year.
That's dope.
This record, it was this like Tomish jazz jam session, Anderson .Paak record where
man,
this record is out of here. I'll play it for I can play it for you today. But right now it's about you. So I just say all that to say it put me in a new gear where I realized that I can make a different side of me come out when I just free myself and just go.
That is we talked about this off air, but that is the weird place sometimes artists find themselves when they get to a certain age. They get to a certain age and they have these habits that they've taken on, these rules that they've created for their craft that are molded by whatever circles they've been around. If you've been around lyricist circles, there's little things like, did you rhyme the same word for 2 bars, like 3 bars? Like things that sound so nitpicky, but it's like when you're around lyricists who are like, no, you can go harder than that.
Yeah.
You're more creative than that. Do better. It molds you. That kind of stuff is what lyricists care about. But what the average listener is listening for, there's way too many variables to predict, first of all.
Yeah.
But if I were to predict what the majority of them are listening to, these folks who are getting our music and listening to them on Dollar General headphones, maybe AirPods, maybe whatever, they're listening for you being the soundtrack to their movie.
That's it.
That's if you can find a way to be the perfect backdrop for a young dude's first kiss with his first girlfriend, or you know, just all the different things that human experience goes through. That's the goal. Like, it's not like I said in the video that actually went viral on Instagram. Like, you don't get it twisted. Like, we're making music, and even if you're not getting hella plays, I guarantee you there are experiences that they're never going to tell you about. I'll give you an example. How many of your homies are going to tell you, man, bro, your beat was playing in the background when me and my baby mama was like getting into this toxic ass argument? When does that come up in conversation?
Never.
Like, that is like, you don't even want to bring up the argument. Better yet, that your music is in the background.
Yeah.
But like, maybe the music calms you down, but you don't want to think about or talk about that or articulate that to the artist. So it's like, there's so many stories we're never going to hear about. I say all that to say, we overthink every aspect of this when we care so much.
Right.
Being on live streaming, being in environments where you have to think up on the spot and you have to be creative, it brings out another side of you, and I think a more well-connected side of you to the listener, the one that they care about. This is not the most lyrical Curtis that you're going to hear but it's one of the most realest that you're going to hear because
it's going to connect.
It sounds like only one step above what a conversation on this podcast sounds like.
It sounds like you put it on a really dope beat, which makes this podcast sound like it's boring.
But bro, I'm telling you, these are things that I never would have heard because of the fucking noise. Had I not taken steps away and just sat back and said, listen to Jubilee Year. I'm so proud of that project. I listened to Somersault. So proud of it. But the moments I'm least proud about on those projects are when my voice inflections are going so crazy and I feel like I'm trying to be almost like a caricature of my charismatic self. And I should have just said it the way I'd say it in my voice. It's not that animated. It's not that crazy. It's not that It's not that serious. Now I'm at a place of maturity, and being a father, being a husband definitely helps that, where I can take it easy and not feel like somebody's going to listen to this and say, oh, you're whack. Or I don't care if they do. I have to get this off and make it sound as authentic of a conversation as possible, because one day when I'm gone, somebody's going to listen to this and try to get a glimpse into what kind of shit I was going through.
That's accurate. I'm about to play something off of Somersault. I'm
curious. Record. I'm curious. What you playing off of Somersault? Oh,
this one's out of here, man.
Yeah. This is a good one.
This is a moment.
This is the conversation voice I'm talking about.
Yeah, trust me. Those are my favorite records of yours. I feel like my favorite records for most people.
I already know what one it is.
What?
Eye on You.
Oh yeah. that was. I think I messaged you after I heard that, and I told you I wish I made this song.
That conversation lives rent free in my head. I've never told you this. I waited till we got on the podcast. That conversation has stayed with me. So when I listen to that song, I don't hear that song and not think about that conversation we had.
Bro, it's on playlists of mine.
Yeah, and I have to give you like the ultimate respect. I thank you for coming out of your artist space to articulate it in that way, because it's a vulnerable thing to say, but it's like, bro, when you expressed how that song made you feel, I was like, yo, like it's conversations like this that make me feel like this music is being understood and it's bigger than even what I see. Right?
Yeah.
Not big in the notion of hit song, but big in the notion of
it's doing what we all dream our art does. You know?
I'm not trying to sing or trying to.
Yeah.
I am attempting to relay a genuine emotion through this, an energy.
Right.
That even if you don't speak the language, you can understand.
You transmuted it straight to me through that record. And I almost started this podcast with it, and I was like, that's too epic for me. That's a personal issue. I can't do that to myself.
We're going to start already started at 10. Oh, we're going to go there.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do that to myself. But this was another record where I felt like you just touched a lot of sonics in a special way. I just love to hear people do things with the music where I can hear they're not chasing anything but their own artistry. And
that's a bar.
You know, this is a record like that for me. No matter what your process was to make it. I'm gonna make someone a Curtis King fan off this episode. I promise you. I promise.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Oh gosh. And I was like, yeah. I know that the season change when them leaves fall. Yeah, I know that the people change when they see flaws. Yeah, I know I daydream when I see stars. Hoping and wishing they come, but they seem far, so far away. I took the summer off. I took another loss. I felt your...
This song, I hear it different.
I get goosebumps, bro. Like
after just getting to know you better, I hear this record different.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's crazy.
So, you
It
got
takes me
your
right
point
back.
across. I know it's all my fault. I know I made that call. I never dragged your name, but still I paid the cost. Nobody said life is fair. For that reason, I stay prepared. It don't matter how nice I am. Some people just think I'm a square. I keep minding my own affairs while you focus on likes and shares. I keep eyes on the light in the air, separated by this flight of stairs. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know what's mine tomorrow, and I don't know what time will borrow. The one thing that I know, I shall be free. Say la vie.
Say la vie.
Yeah.
Kid just glided all over that.
It's literally just
He just
put sauce on the record for you.
He was, come on.
He's special like that.
He is, man.
Oh yeah, I was terrified. Like, what would my life be like if I just never mind? Wait, but what would my life be like if I just realigned? What I realized was a living lie. I seen the signs, had to get it right, and it's gonna take a fight. I took a flight in the NYC, y'all just wait and see. Spent my last dime to do interviews about lemon juice. Now I believe in dreams. Do you believe in dreams? Cause Murs is the reason that sway. Nobody that Curtis King. Typical tourist, I left the city with a snow globe that I copped from a gift shop walking around Soho. The next couple of months of my life would be solo. Double entendre, I bounce back like a yo-yo.
I don't know what's
That's a great verse. That's a really great verse.
Thanks, bro.
I don't know.
I gotta tell you, I'm gonna give an exclusive on that verse. Cause I for sure bit Ab-Soul Flow the whole way through.
Really?
So when I said solo, double entendre, it's probably a triple entendre.
Making this record even better to me.
C'est la vie. I gotta break that down for sure.
I thought I'd never fall in love again. But Cupid, oh, you took me for
I don't
a
think I
never
realized this was
spin.
3 verses.
Like Will of Fortune,
yeah,
Will of
man.
Fortune.
He
where
has
do
something to
I
say on this,
begin?
bro.
I had to get this
approached
off.
you with
Yeah.
the message in your DM, and you let me in. You came into this season like an autumn leaf, falling graceful from the sky. What a masterpiece. To keep you happy, I would have to be a softer me. Now you bless me as the mother of my child to be. So complete, so now the seasons change. Winter, summer, spring, and fall. My pursuit of happiness, I seen you through the thickest fog. This EP go #1. I'm gon' look unbothered, cause it's nothing compared to the stares from my child as they father.
I don't know what's mine tomorrow, and I don't know what time will borrow. The one thing that I know, I shall be free. Say la vie.
C'est la vie.
I'm so happy you came here with a great record. Not to say you wouldn't, but like, cause I didn't want to wash you with your own records.
That would be trash. That would be having a versus my newer self, and it'd be like, yo,
You like, man, I was going crazy back then, huh?
bro.
Yeah, back then.
I put that on Twitter. I was like, God willing, I want to always be more proud of what I'm working on than what I did before.
Man, it's so important. I look at myself and I don't have like a super crazy following for my music. I don't even have a lot of music, but I still will go to my Spotify and look at my most listened to records, and I'll ask myself, are any of these my newer songs? You know, and
that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, and I just want, they don't have to all 5 be, because obviously you're going to have these moments, you know, that are going to stick. But I always want to try to make a record that people have in rotation when I drop a project that's more in rotation than the last project. And it's something a lot of artists struggle with, you know, and it's why it's so valuable to not have that uppercut too soon.
Yeah.
And, you know, some artists, I don't think anyone that we know personally has this issue, but there's some people where, you know, they get an access to a big platform too early. And they didn't put in the groundwork of years of albums and EPs and singles and shows. And now they're on a big stage with 5 songs.
Yeah, trying to figure out why the audience is not rocking with them, or the roadblocks that you would have seen when it was the 4 people in the hole in the wall club, you know, in somebody's hood. Like, you need to go through those things to really build the character up so that when you get to that stage, like, artists don't recognize, like, when I went to paid dues the year before I performed, and I saw Nipsey perform, I saw Currency perform and Nipsey perform on the same stage. It might have been Smokefest, actually. Whatever it was, I remember them performing back to back, and there was a fan that was next to me. These human beings are in awe of seeing the end result of somebody's disciplined behavior. The same way that we are in awe when we watch the Olympics or we watch these NBA players. Ja Morant's been killing it. You know, Steph Curry. Like, we're in awe because this is the end result of so many hours that we have never seen because they did it when nobody was watching.
Right.
And so that is what those artists have to go through. And if you're going through it in real time in front of everybody else, the masses are not as patient.
Right.
As those 3 or 4 people.
Well,
who
the masses
forget.
they're conditioned for the guy who spent 10 years before he blew up.
You're being compared to him off rip.
Yep. And it can
Good
be
luck.
it can be ugly unless you're prodigious, you know, like you got to be a unique, special human being to be able to catch up to someone who put those hours in.
Well, I would even argue too, bro, like, yeah, there are certain people who are prodigies who can fit the role and do that, but I think that from a mental level, I think from a yeah, I can display this level of confidence, but am I feeling this level of confidence in my craft? There's levels of it that you cannot cheat the process, no matter what God-given gifts you were given. Like, there's a reason why a player like LeBron comes into the league and the first time he gets to the championship, he gets swept. Well, because every step is a new championship, right? Getting past the first round, that is now your new thing that you did. So
Yeah.
It's almost like I like this philosophy of the championship doesn't actually exist, right? It exists in a sense of there's a Larry O'Brien trophy, yeah, and there's a 7-game series, but that championship is preparation for the next one.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't even exist. So and I look at these artists that are up there, man. They put themselves on these stages that they're not ready for, and they're treating it like it's, you know, it's the championship, and you know the work doesn't match up, and that's why the audience has the kind of reactions they have towards them, I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna play one last joint, but I did want to talk to you about something we were talking about, which was it was a topic you brought up earlier that we didn't complete, and it was kind of about coming up on the cusp of that era where you can almost feel, are you making music where you sound old, or you know, what are you doing? What are you doing to battle or combat almost stagnation or being detached, you know, or how are I have my answer, I think you're gonna say, or I could tell you what I think you're doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you answer that first. What do you think it is?
So for me personally, you're a type of being that I don't think is capable of stagnation in that aspect, because you aren't happy with doing what you were doing last year.
Yeah.
You know, so Curtis King 10, 15 years ago is a different human being than the one that will make music later. And I think that the day that you don't want to make something new or different, you're probably not going to make music.
Yeah.
You know,
that's real.
So for me, I don't really worry about that, because I think you're someone who functions off inspiration. You step in the lab and you write verses when you feel like you need to write something. You produce when you feel like making a beat. And you're a student at the same time. So, you know, I don't know what you listen to, and I'm actually curious about that, what you listen to in your free time.
Okay. Yeah. But, so I mean, let me double back to the last question, because I mean, you did answer it. You did pretty much answer it. The best example of where I'm at right now is I made this song on Tuesday.
That's new.
For this.
Okay.
You said you need an unreleased song.
Yeah.
I'm in such a good creative space. I couldn't give you a song that has low streams and be like, oh, it's kind of unreleased. Nobody's really heard it. I wanted this to be, I shouldn't say the excuse, but it was the energy necessary for me to say, Tuesday, we're shutting it down. No stream, no this, no this. We're going to make a song. And we're going to make a song offline. We're not going to put the camera on. We're just going to make a fucking song because we love making music.
Right.
Not convincing myself, just doing that. And I did that. And I wrote that song. And then I mixed it today. And I'm like, damn, this is who I'm becoming who I always wanted to be. In that.
You make me want to hear it again. Just
bro, like, man,
this.
but I'm just like, I listen to, even like when you listen, you're going to listen back, I'm sure in your own time, there's certain elements like the harp transitioning to, you know, between one chord progression to the beginning of the next loop. These little sound effects and things, I realize I've picked up nuggets from people who are beast at what they do. But I've never shut myself off from absorbing that and figuring out what that means for me. That second verse that you said you like for the song C'est La Vie, that is me writing it, and I said, damn, this sounds like something like Ab Soul would rap, and I'm gonna say it anyways. It's me recognizing that back in 2006, 2005, when he was in my grandmother's patio, I had never seen anybody in person that rapped like this. I was around him, I was around the homie Ben Grimm, Young Magic, and all of these folks who around that Carson area were supreme lyricists. They made me have to step up.
I talked to Daylyt, and he told me you guys worked together at one point.
I used to work with Daylyt at Quiznos. Daylyt came to my crib, and we started to work on beats together, right? And we didn't really make songs, but it's like, God don't put you around these people for no reason.
I'm telling you right now, your whole story is crazy.
Don't make no sense. Be working at Quiznos with Daylyt. That makes no. When I say that, they say like, you trying to Daylyt me right now, right? You trolling me? No, he can't. Shout out to my brother Daylyt, because that his I say it lovingly, his crazy ass. I was the manager at Quiznos. He would come into work and do shit like, he would come into work and be like, he would come into work limping. And I'm like, bro, like, what's going on? He was like, I injured myself at a 24-hour fitness. I was like, bro, what was you doing, trying to dunk? He was like, actually, like, crazy as shit. Like, I kicked the ball off of the rim. All right, I'm gonna go clock in. No, just playing. No, I'm just kidding.
He's wild.
He just walks to the back, puts his robe on, and says, how can I help you, man? This is before the face tats and all of this.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I used to ask God, I was like, I see these people ascending. Like, I remember seeing his ascension in the battle rap. I remember when he was rapping, in Long Beach at the, what was the name of that? The Pike, or wasn't it the Pike? What was it called? The Pit. I remember him talking and inviting me to come out there. I wish I would have went too, but he invited me, and I'm like, I've seen his ascension. I remember asking God, okay, his ascension. I saw Ab Soul's ascension. I remember seeing Kendrick's ascension when he went from K-Dot to Kendrick. And I remember just seeing TDE take off. And I used to ask God, I was like, God, why would you put me in these people's lives? What does that mean for me?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to be? Because there's a lot of pressure when you look at that and you're like, well, what are you doing? And I'll be honest with you, it's taken me up into my 37th year on this earth to recognize that I was supposed to not only absorb gems from them, but contribute to their journey. I remember a pastor told me the quickest route to your goals is to help others along their road. The quickest route to your goals is to help others on their journey towards theirs. That is what I did. And now to this point, bro, I'm starting to find my own. But the reason I'm finding my own is because I have been around people who are masters of their art. My production is more full because of, oh gosh, Leotus. My lyricism is at a place of comfortability because I remember recording Ab Soul. I remember recording Schoolboy Q in the TDE studios. You know what I'm saying? Like, at a young age. Remember being around, Black Cloud, my Black Cloud brothers. Like, I've been around so many talented people. How could you not walk out of that and absorb that? Now I finally have a place for Curtis to put this energy towards, and that shit's working now. But I'm in my 37th year on this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not mad at that, but it's like, it's finally now working on all cylinders, and the people are choosing it now.
I mean, it's hard to deny it, because all those things are in it. I'm gonna play your record again. I was gonna play something else, but now I have to hear it again. This time I'm gonna play it straight through. So
now you finna hit her flaws because you like Tuesday. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. That compressor. This ain't. You didn't make this beat Tuesday.
No, I made that the Tuesday before.
Okay, thank you.
It was just gonna be an instrumental.
This beat is crazy.
Thank you, bro.
Lately I've been free and leaving my mind open. Getting back to me and attempting to be social. Living in the moment, not going through the motions. Cause I be lost when I'm out here floating. I know pride, I know broke, I know broken. I know highs, I know lows, I know hopeless. I don't cry, that don't mean that I'm soulless. It means I need solutions that are better than emotions. Who do you run to when you the pioneer? You the trailblazer, but the vision isn't clear. And people giving advice ain't never been here. Always wanna drive the boat, but you ain't even learned to steer. By the way, I wrote these words inside my hideaway when I spent some time away, far from the cyberspace. Never underestimate some time away. It could turn a cloudy night thought to a brighter day. Yeah. Find a way. Find a way. Find a way. Find a way. I feel like I give the best advice to everyone except myself. It's like my mind goes blank when I need my help. I've been told I'm too strategic and need to leave it to Jesus. I'm always seeking a deeper meaning in things that are meaningless. This is my weakness, but part of my genius. If you delete ingredients, you will never see me again. Food for thought to get a taste. I wanna bring a friend. Friend tries to customize a dish, now it's different. If it ain't broke, then don't fix your mouth. If you don't own a hammer, don't fix my house. If that man got hope, then he gon' figure it out. Cause he don't do it for the cameras or the screaming the shouts. I feel closer to God when I isolate. Clear-minded when I meditate. Can you relate? I watch them rat race in the microwave while I'm sitting here plotting by the fireplace. This is the music I've been wanting to make, bro.
This is a breath of fresh air. This is
what I wanted to make, man.
This is beautiful, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I want to congratulate you, man. I don't like to name drop a lot, but I remember when Nabian was telling me about Drake's working on CLB. This is maybe 2 years before it came out. He said Drake reached out to all the producers and said, I'm looking for the music, because he was entering his decade in the industry or whatever. And he said, I'm looking for production that's going to push me to make the music that's going to push me to make the next decade of music. He's like, I'm trying to create my So Far Gone or my, whatever, that's timestamp to move him into another decade of success. And I feel like you've kind of stomped on that. Like you've hit a stride where you're going, okay, I'm good. I just got my second win. I can go for a very long time.
Oh, surely.
There shouldn't be any doubt in your head that you're in a bag where you're not going to run out of steam for a long time.
Well, if I start having a dialogue based around steam and around inspiration, around relevancy, I've already lost the point.
Right.
And that's something I'm very cognizant of, is that I'm very aware of, that I'm like, when I start having a dialogue about what will a 17-year-old think of this song, I've already fucking lost.
Yeah, that's it.
Why do people still listen to Kanye? He's 40. Why do young folks still listen to Kanye? He's 45, 46 years old. There's a level, as much as he may be polarizing, as much as folks may not like him or disagree with the things that he says, one thing you do not deny is if that man is crazy. I say that respectfully, because I know we, in the cancel culture era, but and I say the same thing about Trump. Like nobody denies regardless if you agree with him or not, can you listen to him and say you don't believe that he believes what he's saying. Can you say that? I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but can you look at him and say, nah, he ain't with that. Like, he don't believe that. No, he believes every crazy damn thing he says. And I think that is a level of authenticity that a younger generation looks at and says, I don't got to agree with you, but I respect your gangster.
Exactly. That's exactly my thoughts.
So I have to make sure that as I maneuver into new styles of music, like right now, I'm challenging myself to like not be the old West Coast uncle making the West Coast beats that are like 1998, like you know what I'm saying? Like, and I had a homie that called me on it. He was like, you got to stop making like, you know, Uncle Lolo type beats from this era. Like, there's times and place to do it, of course, right? Yeah. But there's also modern sounds that make it sound so much more prevalent and so much more present. But there's also folks like Draco the Ruler. There's also folks like, you know, Stupid Young and Ralphie the Plug and all these folks who are kind of ushering in a new sound of West Coast. Jug Season, the producer. There's so many different producers out here. I'm challenging myself now to tap into that. Challenging myself now, and it's not, I should say challenge. I am leaving myself open to have fun in this playground. Right. Making rage beats. Like, I look at rage beats and I'm like, bro, this is so similar to when we were making Wiz Khalifa type beats. When we were making Neptunes type beats. It's just now the BPM's faster. The 808s hit a hell of a lot harder. And it's more bouncy. And I'm like, with so many things that change from era to era, there are so many things that stay the same.
Absolutely. Cyclical.
It's just there. It's just going to be what it is going to be. Whether that's a BPM preference, if it's just minor tweaks. If you're able to catch on to that and find, no pun intended, find your way in that, there should never be a conversation of if I'm too old or if my message is relevant. Like, if it is, you're probably talking to the wrong demographic to begin with. Yeah. I look at an artist like Murs or Atmosphere. They're not rapping to the 20-year-old version of them. Mm. They're rapping to the place that they're at right now as fathers and grown men. But when I went on tour with Murs, you know what I saw? First time I ever saw this shit at a hip hop show. I've been to, you know, I've been to Kendrick shows. I've never seen a show where the mother is a fan of Murs because she listened to him when he was part of Living Legends. Mm-hmm. The daughter's a fan. She's probably in her 20s to early 30s. But she loves it because of his stuff he did with Ninth Wonder and the relationship music. Mm-hmm. Her younger sister is a fan because she is in love with somebody and she relates to the themes of love. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to be what the relevant music. It's all about this message that continues on. So my man's is forever going to have sort of like that rock star or that rock genre following where he can go out to these shows. And if he plays those songs, they're there to show up. So that's the kind of things I'm thinking of is how do we make our art more evergreen? Mm-hmm. How do we keep it as authentic as possible? To where we're at in life. And if we keep speaking to that shit, there is no falling off. Falling off is a state of mind.
That's all it is, man. I appreciate you coming out.
Come on, man. Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna play some exit music.
Wow. My eye kind of caught that. I was like, wow. Shout out Villain, man.
This is the first time I heard a beat and went, ooh.
Big face, man. Big face Mason, man.
Yeah. If you're still with us, this is For the Record. That is Curtis King. And I should probably, I gotta do a thumbnail pose. I gotta lean in the middle. Alright, cool. That'll be my cover art. What's beautiful?
I wasn't ready. Hold on, let me get. All right, here we go. I was over here doing all that. Like, please don't put me on there like that.
But yeah, it was a pleasure, y'all. And yeah, I don't know when this is coming out, but sooner than later. Appreciate you for bringing me a beautiful record you made in the moment that just tied into everything we were talking about, and This is a special moment, man.
It's highly likely that the first time they'll hear this will be on your podcast. I'm not dropping this no time soon. I am going in my vault and I'm cooking up songs until I have the project I want.
Okay. Well, if you ever decide you want to do something like this for your platform, you're welcome to come back and we'll give you the footage and, you know.
Man, I want the first time people hear this song to be on your podcast. I'm making that decision now. You know why? Because I don't have nobody that can tell me that I can't.
That's beautiful.
Hey, man. I love that.
We out for the record.
Peace.